Hi, everyone. My name is Sam Orelli, and I will be sharing 3 poems with you today, 2 of which were included in 3 Panels Press Issue 5, and a third that was first published in the Berlin Review. I want to start with Patchwork Light. The horizon bleeds rust at dusk, a tongue too heavy to speak. Beneath my ribs, a sparrow nests, its wings damp, folded tight. Once I traced a river's spine on a map stained with coffee rings, dreaming of a shore I'd never reach. The wind smells of ash and old refrains. A child's shoe lies abandoned in the grass, laces frayed like a promise unkept. I hold the pieces, a shattered cup, a shard of blue from a sky I lost. Let the cracks stay. Fill them with what glints, a thread of gold, a stranger's laugh, rain tapping on a roof I still call home. My next poem is called Dandelions. We are quick to pluck, to clear what doesn't belong, because the grass wouldn't be as green. But did you know dandelions are the first sweetness bees taste in spring? Golden and brave, they rise through frost-bitten soil, before tulips, before lilacs, before the manicured bloom of beauty that arrives late and praised. We call them weeds, but what is unwanted still serves. What we overlook may be someone's only hope. I think of this on the quiet days, when I wonder if I've offered anything worth keeping. And I'd like to leave you with a way of staying soft. Some days I dream of letting go, to float like a petal on a stream that never questions its path, to watch headlines fade, grief slip by unnamed, to say the world is breaking and feel only a flicker of heat. But I've seen how silence invites cruelty, how quiet moss creeps where no one looks, how beauty ignored dims like a sparrow's call no one hears. So instead, I light a match at dawn, set a candle by my desk. I cradle coffee in my worn mug and praise the warmth that blooms. I cut extra stalks of asparagus for the neighbors. I tuck seeds into soil, coneflower, milkweed, and whisper a hope for whatever still hums. It's a small act, but it's how I stay tender in a world that keeps asking us to go numb. Thank you.
Midnight Moon. Rising in a black pool of shimmering, lustrous stars, a midnight moon glows ghostly through wisps of white cirrus. The moon's lesser light teases the towering pines, lacing its luminous shine between green needles. Glittering drops of what will be morning dew rest easy like pearls on a vain woman's neck, their reflecting light glossy and gossamer in the branches. An eerie noiselessness chokes all living things, daring an embezzled breath be taken from its limelight. This still frame is broken by the threat of new, blazing and blinding light, its musty haze skulking behind the safety of its mother mountain. This light brings another red, daunting day. The desirable darkness and his mistress moon dispel, and with them their comfortable consolation. The Starman. Now that I am no longer breathing, I wish to sigh. It is over. My jaw is dismantled. I am folded. There is a star in my eye, gushing. I am now amongst the stars. Some call it heaven, others the great beyond. I only know there is no more pain. The man who killed me, I wish to thank, but he is still in hell, as I am free and afloat. Maybe he will return home, have babies, and his babies will fight another war. Fortunately, no babies of mine will ever fight for someone else, for I live within the light of night. Thank you so much for listening. My name is MJ Burnham, and those were two of my poems that have been published in the recent issue of the Three Panels Press titled Honey and Ash. I am from very small town Idaho, a little place called Jerome, and I am currently working on publishing my debut novel and in the first draft of my second novel. You can find more of my work and just me in general on TikTok at Madeline Jane. And you spell that MADALYNNJANE.
Hi, I'm Tony Young. I'm a Filipina poet from Metro Manila, Philippines. You can find my poetry on Instagram at Tony Young Poems. I write about self-love and the joy and the sacredness in everyday moments. I'll be reading 3 poems for you today. The first is called Shallow Waters, and it came out in the Honey and Ash issue of Three Panels Press. Shallow Waters. Of course you'd leave me in shallow water. You need to feel the riverbed scrape your soles because you'd never survive a current. Darkness gathers like an alibi. The river thickens around me. In your scramble to disappear, you trusted the reeds to do the shackling, the water to blur your name. But I am fluent in rust, and I don't flinch at mud. The trees hush when I pass. My dress, filthy and flowering, blooms wide as I float in the water. Behind you, the river opens its mouth. You don't even notice. My next poem, Passage. Every wound is a doorway to rooms I never thought I held. Wounds seal themselves, turn from scab to scar. I don't want to be trapped, be kept small in its healing. I want to step out, seal the door shut behind me. Call it chrysalis and butterfly, or a snake shedding skin. I just want to go home. Garden light. Grief has crashed walls around me. This was a kitchen here. Over there, a bathroom. I don't know what to do with so much air, so much love I want to tuck behind a door that's no longer there. I walk to where the bedroom used to be and catch the moonlight. It is an offering, a mirror, a seed. Grace is the hush that lays down ache as a gift. I see it. I am the light that will not hide, the one who will turn this field into a garden. I hope you enjoyed my poetry. I'd love to connect with you soon. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Rachel Turney, and I wanted to share a couple photographs that are being published in 3 Panels Press. This is my first one. It's called Fall Honey, and it's beautiful aspen leaves that fell on the ground in October in Colorado, and I really like how the water kind of sits on them. I took this from above and just with the phone, actually. This one is called Art Like Honey. I work at an immigrant and refugee center with refugees who just came to the country. So we're really have a hard time communicating. And I met some of my students in person for the first time because I usually meet with them online. And it was just interesting because one of them took my hand and did this henna design, and it was the exact same one she had on her hand. So we had that connection without language. And I went home and took 27 photos of of my hand after that because I just thought that was so beautiful to think about this connection through art that just goes beyond any other way we communicate with people. If you'd like to see more of my work, you can go to my website, turneytalks.com. I'm also pretty active on Instagram at turneytalks. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Ken Anderson in Decatur, Georgia, a suburb of Atlanta. And most of my work can be found on Amazon, Ken Anderson. I like to read Britain's St. Nicholas at the Fox Theater in the latest issue of 3 Panels. Years ago, I saw a production of Benjamin Britten's, not sure what to call it, cantata or opera. The note at the bottom says, from Wikipedia, another famous late legend about St. Nicholas tells how he resurrected 3 children who had been murdered and pickled and brined by a butcher, planning to sell them as pork during a famine. A rain of applause spattered the audience. Not exactly La Scala, a real down-home congregation. Then the mad organist pounced on the keys, and the bass note shook the mischievous child of the fox. The curtain rose like a row of angel hymns, and a queue of little wiggly popes was belting a tune as if soused. Faces bobbed and blushed like flames, the boys a rack of scarlet candles dripping surplices. The merry choir was caroling the way a candelabra beams, swaying like blooms in the small black roots of their scuffs. A triptych unfolded its icons of saints, and the 3 who were pickled sang in their coffins like lamps. Stage right, a flock of cherubs swung their censers, preening their gowns like doves. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Estill Pollock. I'm recording this from England, where I've lived for 45 years, originally from Kentucky. And the poem I'm going to read is from a collection that's forthcoming, and it's about a return visit to Kentucky after many, many years, and some of the reactions to seeing people and places after a long absence. It's about a small southern town and events which were in my life many years ago. And the poem is called Rules of Engagement. No snow now, only the memory of it. Yet April insufficient still, except to tease each tree to leaf, then black the scent, infers a present old enough and no older. The future stalled. In a ditchwater sky, the sun a hawk shape, faint above the cedars. I came this far returning. from a cold spring this close, remembering why I came. My flight to a lost world claims back 20 years. A deep breath held and held until I surface just once back home. A place where the dead and living stood unchanging, all of one house in one memory. The way memory remains unchanged, faces and lives left standing clear-edged in the mind, asking directions to a voice, its echoes. Below the Mason-Dixon, everything and nothing changes. The 19th century slinks by the Chevy showroom, the lakeside condo views. The maples, bigger now, their canopies a tendril vastness of shade dwarfing the old house. Mother in the yard, with the dead, she counts on one hand, on the other the living counted down one by one to last addresses, cancer, each divorce. A reconciliation no nearer for the names recalled across time and these states. These rebel towns are all the same. The courthouse lawn, divot rednecks arguing the war, the Civil War, the shadow bronze of the Confederacy, a bird shit glaze all summer. The past, its terrible beauty, decorates each volunteer. Where you been? Away. The sunbreak of oak along wide lanes. In the stands, pretty girls bearing midriff tans. At the field edge, the immaculate diamonds' early innings. If I knew then, but what do I know, except that pretty girls are harvested, boys now lean and quick, slower every game, that the world itself slows, and no one can replace the day within a field of bright days. A white timber house, its shutters closed against the heat. By the porch, the rambling reds of roses reminds me someone I knew lived here in wartime, in the fragrance of pain. TV deaths, less real somehow. In a child's throat, waves of jellied fire burning through a million boxes as we watched the superfortress passing, remote as a god. Outside the town, old redoubts, the old betrayal of armies from an older war met in abstract time. Each soldier's soul commended to a retrospective heaven, north or south. I read about it in a book. The cemetery stripped of railings for a prisoner's stockade. Salvation sudden for civilians at their rest, beyond age or childbirth, or the cholera that set them deep in iron perimeters, where paradise came open plan. Maybe Jesus saves, but in the rules of engagement, tomorrow is a land cured of memory, where death means breathing easy and time sanctifies and frees. Here is yesterday, the secret slave, the earth cleared grave by grave along the path I took, the name made for it but never shared. In the mouth, a kept coal, its bitten heat.